Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about ways in which the Dallas Cowboys can beat the Cleveland Browns. And as you guys already know, I do these videos before every game day, every Saturday. I try to at least get these previews in before the actual game. So before we hop into the video, I appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. So again, hopping straight into it, the first thing that I like the Dallas Cowboys to do is to start fast. I think that's very important. It's your first game of the season. I understand that some things are going to be a little bit sloppy on both ends, on offense, defense. Same thing for the Browns as well. You know, no one really has an identity week one. People have ways in which they would like to leave off what they did good in the prior season and bring it into the next season. That's what a lot of teams tend to do. But I believe with the Dallas Cowboys, no matter if the Browns win the toss and they defer, they want to give us the ball, go down, get 3 points, bare minimum, but at best, and what we need to do, we need to go get seven. And then same thing for the defense. The first time the defense steps on the field, go out, get three and out, get a stop, get a turnover, make a big play, whatever the case might be, and really with the Browns, what I want to do really to force them to not do the second point, as you guys see right here, is to stop them from stopping the run. A big part in doing that is starting fast. So if you start fast and we do what we normally do when we play Dallas Cowboy football is we get that lead on you, we get a quick seven, the defense gets three and out, or defense gets a turnover, puts us on a short field. We go out bare minimum, we get 3 points, and let's say again we're just offense on fire, and we go out, we score another 7 points. You're down 14 in the middle of the first quarter, then the existence of your run game is starting to deteriorate, and you're not really going to have to. You really can't lean on that run game. Possibly get back in the game running the ball, but again, if we start fast, I don't have to worry about stopping the run, and honestly, I'm not too worried about stopping the run as well because we very vastly improved that in the offseason. Of course, we have to see that in live time and live action versus AFC North opponents, and we have two of them in the next 3 weeks. We got one tomorrow versus the Browns, and then week three we play the Baltimore Ravens. So those are going to be two run heavy teams. And again, you know, Jerome Ford is going to be playing. They're going to be the starting back. You have Nick Chubb starting on pup, so he's going to miss the first 4 games. So Dallas Cowboys caught a little break with that. And then also leading to my third point, forcing Deshaun Watson to hold the ball longer because they have an injured and battered up offensive line. Really talking about injury report, something that I should have done after the intro. But really right now, Jedrick Willis is a game time decision, but he had an injury going into practice, and he basically had an interview saying that he's going to test it out going into the game, but he did not practice Thursday or Friday. Neither did Jack Conklin as well. He's more both. They're probably going to be missing both of their tackles, left and right tackle. But that's going to be very tough for Deshaun Watson in that Browns offensive line, especially if they want to run the ball, because I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball as great as they did in years past, because they also lost Bill Callahan, who was formerly our offensive line coach slash run game coordinator. He left. He went over to go coach with his son in Tennessee. So seeing what Deshaun Watson can do behind that offensive line, I know they got Ken Dorsey as their offensive coordinator. Ken Dorsey, who formerly was with Josh Allen, so you're wanting to see what Deshaun Watson is going to be able to do. I don't think he's going to be able to do a whole lot, especially with having a battered up, injured offensive line. And with that being the case, when they do want to draw back and pass, I believe that Dallas Cowboys should play a little bit of a press, cover two press, cover three press, whatever we're mixing up in the back end, and what our mainstay defense is going to be compared to the past years with Dan Quinn running that cover one, cover three. We're going to be running a lot of too high shell, cover four. We're going to have 4 guys playing deep, or we're going to have a lot of two highs, 2 safeties playing deep, linebackers covering the middle of the field. And really, I think we're going to be fine, really, against the Browns defensively. Our defense against their offense, I think we're going to have a good day against them. I'm not really too concerned about that. And to do for the defense is make sure that we do contain Watson in the pocket. Watson is one of those quarterbacks that he can get elusive with his legs. He isn't as much of a runner like a guy like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, so Kyler Murray. We don't have to worry about his legs like that. But when he does want to make a play with his legs, he can. And let's make sure that we're able to contain him in the pocket. I believe we will be able to do that. And then also, last but not least, but move Michael around. We've been also talking about how we need to move Michael around, and that was a big talking point in the offseason. Shout out to Foots the King. He really stated out and really called out a guy like Dan Quinn, basically having him saying that Micah was such a great player that it made Dan Quinn lazy. And in which it did. You just look at last year, week 5 versus the San Francisco 49ers. We just lined up Michael Parsons on Trent Williams the entire game, and that's all he was from the start of the game to when it got to even a blowout. We just kept Michael Parsons there instead of moving him over to the side where McKivitz was at right tackle, or having him head up against the guard or the center. So that's why he's too, because again, Mike is too quick for us, these centers and guards to handle with. So let's make sure we're doing that as well in today's matchup as well. Linebackers filling in run lanes. I'm felt real confident with Eric Kendricks, DeMarvin Overshown, Maris Luafau looking really good. I'm not really too concerned. Damone Clark as well. I'm not worried about the bevy of linebackers that we do have. I think they're going to play really well in today's showing. I think Overshown is going to do some really great things blitzing, because I know that is what Mike Zimmer did a little bit with a guy like Anthony Barr, who Anthony Barr in a way reminds me just a little bit of a guy like DeMarvin Overshown. Or DeMarvin Overshown, my bad, reminds me of a guy like Anthony Barr. Both 6'4", 6'5" athletes, 220, 215, 230 range, and they both can make plays. They can both blitz, and they do really great things in coverage. So I'm going to be impressed, and I want to see what this linebacker room can do versus the Cleveland Browns. Now, offensively, give your playmakers the ball, and your best playmakers on your team, and what we're basically going to be relying on this year. I feel like until something changes, until I see something in this game, and really we're going to be a pass-heavy team. I think we're built to pass the ball. I think we have a really good pass protector in Terrence Steele. I think he's solid in that. He's a better run blocker, in my opinion, than a pass blocker. But to each his own. However you evaluate him, that's how you evaluate him. But I see him more as a better run blocker than a pass blocker. But I think he's solid enough still to get the job done. I think he will have a tough time against Darius Smith or Myles Garrett if they want to put Myles Garrett at that side, because they like to also move around Myles Garrett like how we were supposed to do with a guy like Michael Parsons. But we're going to see in today's, not today, but tomorrow's showing against Cleveland Browns what we're going to do against a guy like Myles Garrett. First, head up over Tyler Guyton. I think that's going to happen. But the mainstay and what you should be doing anyway is getting the ball quickly and to your best playmakers. Give the ball to CeeDee Lamb. I'm not buying too much stock into the whole, CeeDee Lamb needs to, be acclimated into the offense. He already knows the offense. There's no, he isn't playing with a new quarterback. He knows what it is. He's been practicing with Dak the entire offseason. There isn't much of a drop-off. I'm not worried about him not showing up to camp. And in fact, camp helped out guys like Ferguson, Brandon Cooks especially, getting him confidence, Jalen Tolbert, getting him a whole bevy of confidence, because I believe that Jalen Tolbert will be pivotal in today's matchup, him in the running back room, because I really feel like Schwartz is not going to let CeeDee Lamb beat them in today's matchup, and I also don't feel like he's going to let Brandon Cooks beat him deep, and not going to have Jake Ferguson eat up the seam. So I really think they're going to do a really good job by putting their best corner either on CD or putting their best corner on Cooks. And then if they're going to put the best corner on Cooks, double coverage on CeeDee Lamb's side, and then bracket coverage or quote-unquote umbrella coverage, a guy like Jake Ferguson, have him just eat up all the underneath plays and not have him do any damage intermediate or vertically down the seam. Again, Dak Prescott loves throwing the seam ball. He's one of the best in the league doing that. Him, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford. There's very few quarterbacks in the league that loves throwing the seam pass and that can hit it on a rope like the way that those quarterbacks can sling it. The second thing, I think that we need to run the ball efficiently, because this is a tough run defense, and I believe all before you go into the bye week, even coming out of the bye week when you have to play the Atlanta Falcons and then the San Francisco 49ers, I feel like those are all, so Cleveland week 1, New Orleans 2, Ravens 3, Giants 4, Steelers 5, then you got the Lions, then you got a bye week, then you got the Falcons, then you got the Niners. Those are 7 really good run defense teams, in my opinion. Again, you're going to have to see that coming to fruition down the line of the season, but those are going to be teams that you need to run the ball. You need to run the ball more efficiently, and I think that's what, Last year, that was your biggest weakness, and you needed to get better at that. And I believe you did that, already improving the center position with a more powerful guy. And a guy like Cooper Beebe, I believe he's more powerful. He will be a people mover. I talked about him a lot in the draft process. I talked about him a lot during preseason, and his great showing he had versus the LA Rams, and then most importantly, his second preseason game versus the Las Vegas Raiders when he started at the center position. We need to run the ball efficiently. If I had to put a prediction or a number on what this running back room is going to look like and what type of numbers they're going to put up, I think they're going to put up at least 105, 110 yards. If we can average 100 yards a game on the ground, and again, I'm not saying it's the easiest, but I think it can get done. I think if you break it down like this, you get about 50 yards or 45 yards with a guy like Rico Dowdle, and then if we are including Cavante Turpin, like how they used him in training camp practices, what I heard a lot. Shout out to the We're Doing All Right podcast with Vosh Lombardi and Brian Bardis. They talked about Brian Bardis mainly because he was at the on site. He was saying that they use Cavante Turpin a lot at running back. So if Cavante Turpin gets a couple of touches, meaning 5 or 10 touches, and he's a guy that gets 30 yards, again, 45 yards with a guy like Rico Dowdle, 30 yards from a guy like Cavante Turpin because he's will possibly be your most explosive guy in the running back room if you were to use him in that way. That's 75 yards right there. And then you can get the other 25 from Zeke, Deuce, Dak, Lepke. Dak keeps the ball sometimes. He'll keep the ball sometimes on an RPO play or read option type of play. He'll do that as well. Lepke will probably get some touches on goal-to-goal situations. Same with Ezekiel Elliott. They'll probably give him the ball a lot. And then again, the next point, take care of the ball. Big thing in the NFL, you don't want to give these good or these pro-style offenses short fields to score touchdowns. Take care of the ball offensively, and I think we'll be fine. The other thing is to control the penalties that you can control, and those are false starts, intentional grounding, encroachment, which is really just defensive offsides, and just everything like that, really. All the things that you can, rough in the passer, I understand that's something else that we do. All teams do it across the league, but again, they're going to be penalty driven. Watch out, it's the first week of the season. They're trying to implement a whole lot of rules. I know that offensively we need to get better at that as well. With the kick out of your tackles, you need to make sure that you're lined up correctly where you're supposed to line up at. They're trying to stop that whole Lane Johnson, Trent Williams getting out of their stance before the ball is snapped. That was called a lot in the Brazil game versus the Packers and Eagles. And then also that Thursday night matchup versus the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. They call that play a whole lot. So got to make sure we're looking at that as well. And then the last thing is just really try to stay healthy on both sides. I'm praying for both sides. Prayerfully that both of them are healthy. And prayerfully there's not a whole lot of major injuries. I know that we did suffer one last week. Not last week, but last night. Not talking about us as an NFL team, but us as a league. Jordan Love is going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. I know that isn't, nobody really cares. I do, but I'm saying that, some people might not care because, of course, I'm talking Dallas Cowboys, but he missed 4 to 6 weeks, and prayerfully he's fine, and thank God it wasn't nothing structurally wrong with his knee, and he's able to play more football throughout the rest of the season. But again, just stay healthy. I hope the entire league stays healthy. I know injuries is part of the game. It's going to happen, but prayerfully no season-ending injuries and no injuries that take up majority of the season, like a guy, not majority of the season, but multiple weeks, about a month plus, like what Deron Bland's going to miss. And that's about it for the video. Again, start fast, offensively and defensively. The first drive that you guys go out there, offensively go down. If you win the toss, you want to receive, go down, get 7. Bare minimum, get 3. Defense, when you go out there, stop. If 3 and out, that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you let up 3 points. That's it. Stop the run. We stop the run. Earn the right to pass rush. If we want to get home, we want Micah Parsons. We want all these guys to get all their money and their sack bonuses, and you want to reach all the logistics in your contract. Stop the run. You'll be able to go after Deshaun Watson. He does hold the ball on. He does hold the ball a lot, and you will be able to get to Deshaun Watson. I'm not too concerned about that. Force D. Watt to hold the ball a little bit longer behind an injured offensive line. Again, Jedrick Willis, Jack Conklin are both listed as questionable on Sunday's matchup. So again, just have Deshaun Watson hold the ball as much as he can possible. While doing that, contain Watson in the pocket. Not saying he's going to burn you with his legs like Lamar, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray can, Jalen Hurts. Just contain him in the pocket. He likes to make plays out of the pocket. Make sure we do that as well. Move Micah Parsons around. We need to be doing that. Linebackers fill in run lanes. Offensively, give your playmakers the ball. That's Jake Ferguson, Brandon Cooks, Sealand. Those are your three most explosive playmakers on the field. Run the ball efficiently. That was your biggest weakness last year, in which it was. Run the ball, make the Browns play honest, and have them get out of a too high shell because they'll be playing a lot of man coverage anyway because they ran the fourth highest man coverage, or my bad, the third highest man coverage, and Dak Prescott is fourth amongst active quarterbacks in the league, tearing up man coverage. Take care of the ball. Don't turn the ball over. We'll be fine. Control the penalties that you can control. Those are the offensive tackles, guards, whoever getting out of their stance too quickly before the ball is snapped. The refs, they are calling that, and they're being very vicious about it too. So make sure that you're doing that. Control the false starts on offense and defense, the intentional grounding, things of that nature. Play clean football, and you will beat this football team soundly. I'm not too concerned about it. This isn't a weak opponent, but this is an opponent that's keeping me up at night. It's not this week. 2 weeks from now when we play Lamar, that definitely will keep me up. But right now, I'm not too concerned over a guy like Deshaun Watson and this team offensively. And then last but not least, stay healthy. I want as many guys to be healthy as long as they can. So also there's no excuses by the time playoff come. That's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.